Yes, welcome to the St. Louis Writers Group. This evening we present American Goth Hicks by David Hawley. And after the reading, we will have our discussion. At this time, I will turn it over to whoever's reading stage directions to introduce the actors, please.
Hi, it's Dave Hawley, the reading the stage directions. American Goth Hicks, a farce. The characters are Astrid Lund, a lady in middle age, Scandinavian and libidinous, mother of Anna, the owner of the American Gothic Hotel, played by
Mary Robert.
Anna Lund, her daughter, in her 20s, a business graduate with dreams and ambitions of owning a larger hotel chain, played by
Annie Valeska.
Bill, an ancient and incompetent handyman who's sweet on Astrid, played by
John McClendon.
Sid, an old criminal who has turned to art theft, on the run with a valuable painting, played by
Simon Chaplin.
Willie, Sid's accomplice, young, fit and healthy, but not very bright, played by
Dave DeRose.
Sergeant Lineker, undercover policeman on the trail of the criminals, played by
Brad Slavic.
Officer Mudd, newly graduated police officer, also rather dim, played by
Jeff Cargis.
Barry, presenter of ghost hunting TV program, a handsome, vain man, not interested in the content, just in reviving his flagging career, played by
Will Shaw.
Jan, producer, director, camera person for the same TV show, played by
Michelle Hand.
Arthur, an amateur ghost hunter, wants to help the ghosts, very animated and possibly slightly mad, played by
Dennis Fisher.
Setting, the time 2021, things are getting back to normal after COVID. Place, the American Gothic Hotel in rural Wisconsin. The whole play occurs in the hotel entrance lobby. There is a small check-in desk and a bar to one side with a single beer pump and a few bottles. Behind the desk, which has a lift-up section, there is a door to the office. There is a light fitting on the wall of stage right of the desk. To the left of the desk is the door to outside. There are other doors to the left and right, which lead to the north and the south wings. There is a light switch on one wall. There is a large and ancient couch in the room and other non-matching furniture. There is a prominent painting on one wall. Scene 1. Slightly creepy music plays as the lights come up or the curtain rises. The stage seems empty as it's twilight and rather dim, apart from a ghostly light from behind and underneath the bar. There are spooky knocking noises. These continue after the actors begin to speak. Astrid enters from the north wing looking a little apprehensive. She stands by the bar for a second as the knocking noises continue. Someone in a Halloween ghost costume consisting of a sheet with a face painted on it rises from behind the couch and moves to one side of it. It's Anna, who's unseen so far.
Whoa, I have come for your soul. Whoa.
She stretches her voice, ends up in a coughing fit, resulting in her falling over the couch.
Anna, do grow up, darling. And please don't cough like that or we'll be in lockdown again.
She disentangles herself from the costume.
How did you know it was me? I just arrived. You're supposed to be scared.
Astrid turns the light on.
You're going to have to stop wearing those dress shoes of mine you borrowed if you want to convince me you're a ghost. When did you arrive?
Just now. When Dad was alive, he always pretended to be frightened. He ran away screaming once.
Oh, that must have been the day when your first school bill arrived. Anyway, where are your boots? I thought all you Goths wore boots.
Mom, I gave up being a Goth when I was 16. I don't have any boots. At business school, we're encouraged to wear business attire with heels.
Oh, really? In my day, the only business women who wore high heels were Bill.
He's still here?
What's that, Mrs. Lund?
Quiet for a few minutes, please, Bill.
What?
Quiet!
But I'm nearly finished nailing these new pipes up and...
Careful, Bill. You'll make yourself deaf with all that hammering.
What?
Yeah, very good, Bill. We've all heard that one before.
What?
Oh, shit. Is your head okay?
Yeah, I'm not. What?
Are you okay?
Yeah, no problem.
You know, Mom, I don't know why you keep giving him work to do. He's useless as a handyman, and he's going deaf, too.
Oh, he can hear well enough when there's something he wants to hear. Would you like a little drink, Bill?
Yes, please, Mrs. Lund.
When you finish that job, then. See?
But he's ancient, and he never manages to finish anything off. And his equipment's in poor shape, too.
Oh, I wouldn't quite say that. Some of his equipment is in perfect working order.
What? Oh, my God, he's sweet on you.
Really, Anna, is that any way to talk to your mother? What would Papa say about it?
Probably nothing until he booted him out. You know, Dad didn't take no nonsense from nobody.
Ah, yes. Such a vigorous man, your father.
You mean he didn't suffer fools gladly?
Well, yes, that too.
Oh, for God's sake, Mom, don't give me that lecherous leer. I'm your daughter. It's unseemly. I didn't understand what you meant when I was 12, but I do now.
Really, Anna, I don't know what you mean. Sometimes I think, darling, that you have too much of that side of your father about you. So Bill isn't as fast as he used to be, but he's faithful. I don't know how he'd be able to open the hotel after COVID without him. And anyway, it's nice to be appreciated as a woman at my age.
Mom, do you want me to help you get this place back in profit or not?
Yes, I do.
So, we need to start somewhere. How much are you paying him?
We haven't really agreed on that yet. I just give him some money when he seems to have been working for a good length of time.
Ugh, do you know anything about business?
Papa and I ran this hotel for 21 years together. You know that. You were raised here. Admittedly, since your father passed, it has been quieter and we had to shut down for COVID.
When did it last make a profit?
I think it was probably the month after your father died.
What? This place has been losing money for 3 years? Bill!
Just a minute. I've just got to screw this. Oh!
A brief jet of water shoots up from behind the bar.
I hope to hell that was water.
Oh, leave him alone, dear. He's been so helpful over the last couple of months. I really don't think we could do without him. And there are so many things to be fixed now we can open again. Please, darling.
Nearly got this water disposal fixed.
All right, just until we get these repairs done, and then you let me hire anybody we need. You let me make these decisions in the future.
Oh, we need to talk about that.
Bill emerges.
There.
You fixed it. Well done, Bill.
Well, let's give it a go, shall we?
He confidently reaches down to operate the waste disposal, which starts with a loud noise. Bill is immediately dragged downwards by his tie with a shriek. Astrid and Anna rush to his aid, turn off the machine and pull Bill from behind the bar. His tie is in tatters and he's holding his hand.
I think I might have forgotten to put the cover back on.
Oh, dear, you have got a cut there, Bill.
No problem. I had worse in the army.
You were wounded, weren't you, in Belgium?
No, that was my dad. He got shot in the bulge.
What?
Battle of the Bulge, you know. But I broke a few bones when the steering went wrong on a Jeep at the base.
Oh, dear. Sounds nasty.
Yeah, I'd just been fixing it too. But we all recovered.
All?
Well, it was a shame about Angus. He was never able to wear his Highland kilt after that. That wasn't too much of a problem, seeing he was Polish anyway.
Come into the office and let me get you patched up.
Astrid leads him into the office through the counter and door at reception. As he disappears through the door,
The beer pump's still working.
How do I see the advanced bookings?
In the book.
Still use a book?
she picks up the book and looks at it. She turns over a single page, which is clearly blank, on the other side.
That's it?
She puts the book down. She looks around the place.
Guess it's not so surprising. Jeez, look at these cobwebs.
She goes up to the wall light and wipes the cobwebs off with her hands. It turns sideways and the secret passageway opens. Anna stands and looks at it, amazed for a few seconds. She moves the lamp back to the vertical position and the door closes again. She turns the handle and it opens again.
Mom?
Yes, darling?
There's a funny door here. It just opened when I moved the light fixture on the wall.
Yes, dear, what about it?
What is it?
That's just the secret passage, darling.
The what? The secret passage? Where does it go?
To the garage at the top of the lot. It comes up under a trap door in the floor.
Really?
Do close it up, darling. There's a good girl.
Why?
Because it makes a huge draft and it's full of enormous spiders.
Anna rapidly backs away from the opening.
How come I never knew about this before?
Oh, you were such a headstrong and inquisitive child. We didn't want you going in there.
Why is it there?
When we bought the hotel from old Mr. Gunderson, he said it was put in during Prohibition. They could drive their cars straight into the garage and move the liquor into the hotel, even with the police watching the front door. We sometimes used to store beer in there to keep it cool. Now close it up, there's a dear.
Bill emerges from the office with his hands bandaged.
Don't you go in there, Miss Anna. It might be haunted by the ghost of Harry the Hatchet. He was the biggest gangster, you know. Bootlegger.
Who?
Harry the Hatchet? What do they teach you at school these days? He was the most vicious gangster in Wisconsin. He had all sorts of schemes, booze mainly, but he ran a lot of pies and he had his finger in all sorts of people. Yes, he used to pick sports too. Football, he had a baseball scheme going.
I heard he ran an enormous tennis racket.
He spent his last night in this very hotel before the cops got to him.
What? When was this? I never heard.
I'm not surprised, darling. It was in 1926. But he really did stay here the night before the police ambushed him.
Ha! You'd probably get more people to stay if it was haunted. Some people like that sort of thing.
That is probably true, you know, the haunted hotel. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Oh, we fill up at graduation time, usually. What isn't, darling?
When did you last do any advertising?
Advertising. I looked at it, but it's so expensive. So your father...
You've said enough. You know the old saying about any publicity being good publicity?
She takes out her phone.
Darling,
Just a moment.
what are you doing?
Looking for a website. I'm going to get us some free advertising.
What website? What are you doing?
There we are.
She dials a number.
Voicemail. Hello, American Ghost Hunter. My name is Anna Lund, and I'm the co-owner of the American Gothic Hotel in Wisconsin. My mother and I run the hotel, but we've had a mystifying reduction in bookings in the last recently. We have suspicions that the hotel may be haunted by the spirit of the gangster bootlegger Harry the Hatchet, who spent his last night here in the 1920s. We've had strange banging noises, moaning, mysterious cold drafts. There's a secret passageway used by bootleggers, which my mother has always warned me away from as being full of malignancy, a feeling that there are many eyes watching you, eyes that may not be human.
Oh, really, darling?
My mother doesn't like to talk about it. She seems afraid. Anyway, just wondered if that's the sort of thing you'd be interested in. If you are, call me back on this number. Bye.
She ends the call.
My dear, what on earth have you done?
I may have just taken our first step on the road to profitability.
End of scene 1. Scene 2. A few days later. The hotel lobby is empty. Sid and Willie enter. They're both dressed as priests and are carrying suitcases. The case that Willie is carrying is very large.
How long are we gonna stay here, Sid?
Things cool down. Until things cool down, and don't call me Sid. It's Father Murphy and your Father O'Toole, right?
He hits the bell on the counter. Ding!
Why do we have to be vicars anyway? I feel stupid in this collar.
We're Catholics. Shh.
Anna comes to the front desk out of the office.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Fathers, is it?
We're Catholic vicars.
Welcome to the American Gothic Hotel.
Indeed, my child. Tell me, would you be able to provide accommodation to a pair of weary travelers?
Fatigued from spreading the good word.
Sid physically moves him aside.
I'm sure we could manage that. As it happens, we have some availability right now. How many nights would that be for, and how many rooms?
One room, if you have one with twin beds. A few nights, say 3 to start with. Need we specify a present?
No, indeed. Stay as long as you like, and we have a very nice twin-bedded room at the end of the south wing.
That sounds very nice, but do you have anywhere else we could park our car? The lot is a little broken up and muddy.
That's going to be fixed very soon. In the meantime, you can park your car in the garage. It's a barn, really, but there's plenty of space.
That sounds ideal. Can I park it in there now?
Absolutely.
She reaches behind the counter and grabs a key.
Follow me, please.
They exit out of the front door, leaving Willie behind. He starts to look around the lobby area, including fingering the lamp that opens the secret passage, but he doesn't open it.
Father O'Toole.
He wanders over to the bar and touches the beer pump handle. It falls off. He rapidly backs away from the bar and looks around some more, backing into the couch and falling over it. Eventually, he wanders over to the centre of the room again by the suitcases. He takes the larger case and lifts it above his head. He does a few more exercises like this. Astrid enters by the door to the north wing and stops to admire the well-built young man doing his exercises. She pauses for a few seconds, admiring the young man from behind.
1, 2, 3.
Well, what has the wind blown in here?
4, 5, 6.
Anna approaches him as he bends down and observes his rear as he exercises.
Well, hello.
Willie spins round to look at her, revealing his clerical collar.
Oh, you're a father.
No, I'm not.
What?
I don't have any kids.
Of course you don't.
What? Why not? How would you know?
You're a priest.
I am. Oh, yes. Of course I am.
Anna and Sid re-entered.
Mom, 2 new guests, Father O'Toole and Father Murphy.
Lovely. Which is which?
I can't remember.
I'm Father Murphy, and this is Father O'Toole, my apprentice priest. He's a novice. No,
Seminarian?
that's
That's
right.
right.
I'm sorry.
That's right. I'm a Simeon priest.
A very nice place you have here, ma'am.
Arthur suddenly dashes in, yelling.
Stop! Stop! I'm not too late, am I?
They all stand and look at him for a second.
For what?
Well, they have rights too, you know. You have no business to try to drive them away. It's not fair.
Excuse me, sir, but are you mad?
I'd be very peeved if they're finished.
Finished what?
The ceremony, the whole thing.
Excuse me, what is your name, please?
Arthur Mullard.
Mr. Mullard, why are you here? Do you need a room?
Not if they finish the job. It wasn't them I wanted to see.
And who was it you wanted to see?
Who? Harry the Hatchet, of course. Just because he's dead doesn't mean he doesn't have rights. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Oh, you've been looking at our new website, I presume? And you're interested in our resident ghost.
What? Ghost? You never said there was a ghost. We can't stay here if this place is haunted. I don't like it. I don't want to stay here, Sid.
Please remember to refer to me as Father Murphy. I'm your supervising priest, Father O'Toole.
You've just arrived.
Yes.
Well, leave again right now.
What? Who are you to order me around, mister?
No, Sid, let's go now. I don't like this ghost business.
You shut up, you idiot.
Oh, please don't go, gentlemen. I'm sure we can work something out. It's a lovely
Never said
hotel.
anything
You
about
priest
Oh,
think
You're
you
Father
can
the
do
O'Toole,
won't
I'm
be
your
anything.
bothered by
supervisor.
the
We're
ghost
staying
when
here.
we
Hold on here.
go.
I don't like
No
it.
nonsense.
Alone here,
More
pal.
like a
Let you
quiet
ride
Look,
him
presence.
out.
Master, we're nothing to do with the ghost.
That's all.
She picks up a CO2 fire extinguisher and blasts it in the air over the group. It makes a loud noise. Everyone stops talking,
Thank you.
putting down the
Now-
fire extinguisher as if nothing had happened.
Now, if you will give me a moment, you, Mr. Mullard, are here because you are interested in the haunting of the building by the ghost of Harry the Hatchet, the famous bootlegger, correct?
Yes, but
Quiet? And you assume, seeing two priests on the premises, that they have come to do some exercising?
Hey, I just did some exercise.
I knew it. You barbarians in dog collars.
Will you be quiet, please? Bad choice of words. You assume these gentlemen have come here to drive away the spirit of Harry the Hatchet. And you, Father O'Toole, are concerned that the soul of Harry the Hatchet may be in torment, something like that.
Very well put, miss. Young priest, so concerned for every soul. You know, it's very common.
Okay, now we understand. Let me put the minds of all of you gentlemen at rest. The two fathers here have just arrived and their visit is unconcerned with our supernatural presence.
Quite correct.
But
Who reveals himself only at this end of the building, the north wing. Never on any occasion down there in the south wing where your room is going to be. So I am sure you will remain undisturbed there, Father O'Toole. I think you will find your room very tranquil and quiet as quiet as you like. Does that reassure you?
well, I don't know. Ow! Ow!
Sid has kicked him.
Really fine. Thanks.
Whereas you, Mr. Mullard, I would suspect are a ghost hunter.
Hunter, I don't hunt them. I try to help them.
Of course you do. Then I expect that you would like to be accommodated down there at the south end of the hotel where, to use the classic phrase, the ghost walks. There's one room he particularly seems to like.
Yeah. Do you have a room where you think he might manifest himself a bit?
Yes, we do. And I can put you right in there if you'd like. It's the room he stayed in the night before he died.
But we don't know. Ow!
Anna's kicked her.
Can I have a look first? There may be reverse vibrations.
Well, heaven knows we don't want to risk reverse vibrations. Let's go look. Would you bring the key, please, Mom? And I'd like a quick word. Would you mind waiting here a few moments, fathers?
Sid waves a gracious assent. Astrid, Arthur, and Anna exit to the south wing.
Sid, do we have to stay here? I don't like the sound of that ghost at all.
Stop being so stupid, Willie. Ghost my ass. No, this place is just what we want. Quiet, just out of town, and we fit in the car. That barn is perfect. Even if the cops come and have a picnic on the lawn, they won't see anything. We can lie low for weeks among these Hicks.
It's so quiet out here. It's creepy.
Exactly. Who's going to come here apart from oddballs like that little ghost hunter nut? We'll be right out of the public eye. It's perfect. Honey, I just spotted the name on the sign. Coincidence or what?
Oh, yes. Hey, where are we going to put this?
He pulls out a painting from the luggage. It is Grant Wood's American Gothic.
Cover it up, Willie, for God's sakes, and don't take it out again. Do you want to get us arrested? They might be Hicks out here, but that thing will be on the news soon. Quick, someone's coming.
Anna re-enters.
Oh, Miss Lund, on reflection, I think the Father O'Toole and I would like to extend our stay to 2 weeks.
Oh, great.
It's so lovely here. We couldn't think of leaving soon.
That's excellent. That is,
Is there a problem?
no, not at all. 2 weeks it is. Just have to do a little swapping around.
Oh, I thought you said you were quiet. You have some other guests coming?
Not just other guests. We have a whole TV crew coming to film the hotel.
What? Here?
Yes, they should be arriving any minute. In fact,
Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd enter in plain clothes.
right on time. 2 single rooms, I believe, gentlemen, for a few days, up to a week.
As it happens, exactly right. But how the heck did you know?
You are the first of the crew from American Ghost Investigator Television, aren't you?
No. I'm Sergeant Lineker, and this is Officer Mudd of the Chicago Police Department.
Ah!
End of scene 2. Scene 3. Later that day, Bill enters carrying a set of steps. He hesitates for a few seconds as voices are heard outside. He looks at the painting, which is slightly crooked. He sets down his ladder underneath it and takes a step up to adjust it. Barry and Jan enter. Barry is a good-looking older man. Jan is carrying a small professional TV camera. They go up to the desk, which is empty, and turn round to look at Bill, who's having trouble with the painting.
Hey there. What are you doing?
The damn thing won't stay horizontal, whatever I do. I put it straight, and when I come back, it's moved like some invisible thing is moving it when there's no one around.
There's our first unexplained happening. Can you get that, Jan?
If you like.
She lifts the camera and begins to film.
None of that now. I don't want to be on TV.
He waves at Barry from the ladder, overbalances and falls out of sight behind the couch as Astrid enters.
Ah!
Keep filming.
Bill, are you all right?
She lifts him up from behind the couch. He is unsteady on his feet.
Straighten the picture.
Well, hello. I'm so sorry. I think it was my fault. I hope he's not hurt.
Astrid takes a long, lustful look at Barry and drops Bill behind the couch again.
Ah!
Hello, Mr.
Vanderkamp? Barry Vanderkamp.
Well, what an impressive name.
I'm all right. No problem.
He collapses behind the couch again.
What can I do for you, Mr. Vanderkamp?
Well, I was hoping you could offer me a bed. You think you might be able to do something for me?
I always try to give pleasure.
Do you think you'll be able to handle it then?
I can handle anything you want me to.
Bill appears once more.
Don't worry about me.
He sinks below the couch again.
I won't. Oh, you're the first of the team from American Ghost Investigators.
Jan lowers her camera.
We are the team.
Oh, we were expecting a whole crew. I got an email from Pan-Continental Supernatural Television Corporation Incorporated.
That's us.
Just the two of you? Pan-Continental Supernatural Television Corporation?
Incorporated. And Diane, my daughter, back in the office. She's our admin assistant when she's not grooming poodles.
See, things are done so much more efficiently these days. We produce the whole show between us. I'm the writer and presenter.
Anna enters.
Jan is the predator.
Excuse me?
Producer, camera, director, predator.
Thank heavens for that. I couldn't manage with two predatory women around here.
Astrid gives Anna a dirty look. Anna notices Barry and also seems to take a fancy to him.
But what about all of the names you see on the credits, like gaffers and riggers and best boys?
I expect you were particularly looking forward to the best boys. Oh, yes. Well, you'll just have to make do with one grown man.
We have two single rooms ready for you as requested, just down the corridor.
She grabs the keys from the desk. Astrid tries to take them from her. There is a brief tug of war.
Let me show you what my mother and I have to offer.
We have some interesting pre-war features.
Speak for yourself, Mother, but I think Mr. Vanderkamp might be interested in something with a bit more young life in it.
Anna prevails and whips the keys away. Astrid is about to try again when Sid and Willie enter from the north wing.
Ah, Mrs. Lund, I wonder if you can help me. One of the faucets in the room seems not to be working.
Anna, Barry and Jan exit. Anna waves the keys with a smile as Astrid gives her a dirty look.
Oh dear, let's have a look.
Just wait here for me, Father.
Astrid and Sid exit. Willie acknowledges him with a wave and sits down on the couch. He sits silently for a few seconds. Officer Mudd and Sergeant Lineker enter. Officer Mudd sits down on the couch too. They sit in awkward silence for a few seconds while Sergeant Lineker makes notes in his notebook.
Seen anything of the ghost then?
Ghost? Huh. Yeah, I heard about that. If it shows up, I'll ask you to come and see it off.
As he exits the
Me?
front door.
I don't want anything to do with ghosts.
Really? I would have thought that was right up your street, you being a man of God.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, you know, the Holy Ghost and all that. The Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. You know about that sort of thing, don't you?
Ah, yes, those old three. I was kind of forgetting.
Can I ask you a question about that, Father?
Of course.
You know,
My
Father, I am perfectly happy with the idea of the Father and the Son. I got all of that sort of stuff at Sunday school. But what exactly is the Holy Ghost?
Well, it's the ghost of God.
Is he dead then?
No. God is immortal.
So how does he have a ghost?
Well, the fact is that those of us who die might become ghosts.
Like Harry the Hatchet.
Oh, yes, right. But if you're immortal, you can be around at the same time.
At the same time as your own ghost?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that is wonderful, Father. Father, you have just clarified in one sentence that something's been bothering me for years. Oh, I asked the priest at my own church, and he went on some sort of great stream of stuff about impersonal spirits that can fill you up or something. I can tell you, I didn't understand it at all. I didn't understand a word.
Sid re-enters as Sergeant Lineker comes back in and beckons to Officer Mudd to come with him.
Your assistant here, Father? He is blessed with wisdom beyond his years. I am sure that he will go far in the church.
Officer Mudd and Sergeant Lineker leave as Sid looks at Willie with astonishment.
What was that all about?
We were just having a thermological discussion.
A what?
You know, it's easy being a priest if that's all you got to do. Then again, maybe there's exams. I might be one of them preachers on television instead.
Make your mind up. Are you going to give up stealing or not?
What?
Never mind. It looks like we'll just have to settle down here for a few days. Now, we've said we're going to stay. We don't want to attract suspicion by running off as soon as the cops show up.
What? Stay here with the ghost? I don't want to do that.
Look, well, Father O'Toole, I don't want to hear any more stupid stuff about ghosts. Do you hear me? There's no such thing. We need to be inconspicuous, so we'll just have to wait.
Astrid sticks her head back in the door.
I think I fixed it.
Sid exits with Astrid as Anna enters with Barry and Jan from the other wing.
Of course, I became aware of the ghost at a very young age. Sometimes I would be in the building by myself and I would become aware of the feeling of a mysterious hand on my shoulder. But when I looked, there was nobody there.
Oh, really? When does this happen? At night?
No, anytime at all. Middle of the afternoon, breakfast, anytime. I heard it was one of the things Harry the Hatchet used to do.
Fondle people's shoulders?
Place a hand on their shoulder from behind and say, uh-oh, which was a signal to his henchmen that this person was a marked man and would never be heard of again. And it looks like his spirit is carrying on in much the same way.
Oh, please, do explain.
It's just rumors, of course, but sometimes there is substance in rumors. I heard that in his lifetime, he had a habit of putting his hand on your shoulder when he talked to you. He did that all the time. But if he said, uh-oh, well, that was a signal to his henchmen that, well, that was the end of you. Harry the Hatchet might have died in a hail of police bullets in town, but I've heard that quite a few people have felt that touch on their shoulders.
And what happens after that?
Nothing normally, unless
What?
over the last few years, I heard that one or two people who were touched on the shoulders heard a mysterious voice that seemed to say, uh-oh, close to their ear.
Go on.
This is just hearsay, of course.
Well, of course.
All of the people died, strangely and inexplicably, shortly afterwards. Oh, don't you worry, Father O'Toole. All the people involved had big, guilty secrets. I'm sure your conscience is clear. Shall I show you the barn now?
Sure. Let's go.
They leave out of the front door the same time as Arthur comes in.
I can sense a ghostly presence. I don't know where it is, but it's here.
He gestures impressively, holding his arms up in the air and moves around.
Where are you, Harry?
He moves to the position of the secret passage and waves his arms again. He bumps the lever that opens the secret passage and the door opens, but he and Willie are facing away from it.
A cold draft. It's a sure sign the ghost is near. Do you feel it?
Yes, I do.
Arthur waves his arms around again and once more touches the lever. The door closes.
It's gone. It's moved on. I'll find it.
He rushes off again.
Don't leave me.
Willie is frozen in his seat. He looks terrified. Bill slowly rises from his position behind the couch, holding his head. He groans. Bill is still swaying slightly. He goes, uh-oh. He puts out a hand to steady himself, which lands on Willie's shoulder. Willie lets out an unearthly scream and rushes out the front door as fast as he can. They watch him go and then turn to look at Sid.
He's from Iowa.
End of scene 3. Scene 4. As the lights come up, Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd are sitting on the couch. Sergeant Lineker is closing his phone and putting it in his pocket.
Captain says they definitely came this way. There haven't been any more reports of them.
Maybe they got away.
Chief thinks they may have gone to ground somewhere around here. I think he's right.
Why don't they get rid of it as soon as they can?
With a painting like that? No. Art thieves can afford to take their time, only need 1 or 2 big jobs, and they're set up for life. Nah, they won't hurry. They might hang on to it for years if they haven't already got a buyer.
Who's going to buy something like that well known?
Oh, some rich oddball with an obsession and...
He stops as he sees Arthur entering, holding an odd bit of apparatus that he points all over the place.
Talking about oddballs with an obsession.
Aha!
What were you saying, Sarge?
Yes, our best option is probably to sit tight here for a few days and watch for any unusual behavior, especially by strangers in town.
Arthur has lain down on the floor and is pressing his device to the ground.
No, no.
Excuse me, sir, but what is that and what are you doing?
Oh, this is my spirit detector. I built it myself.
You don't say. What does it do?
Well, it's a spirit detector. It detects spirits. Do you have difficulty understanding English?
How does it work? Whew, looks complicated.
Well, I'm glad somebody in the police department has some sense. It works by picking up a combination of lower temperatures, disturbances in electrical and magnetic fields, low frequency vibrations and air movements, all of which are known to be associated with the presence of ghosts.
Have you found many?
If I'm honest, I've found more air conditioning units than anything else, but I've got an updated model that picks up low-level light sources too.
Well, that should be able to pinpoint anyone who opens the fridge door.
But
I was just remarking to Officer Mudd what a remarkable gentleman you are, sir.
Arthur has already lost interest and is down on the floor again near the secret passage.
oh, yeah, yes.
You found something?
There is a distinct reduction in temperature close to this wall.
Oh, yeah?
He goes over to look.
Hey, he's right, Sarge. Feel this wall. It's a bit colder than that one. Maybe there is something to this ghost stuff.
Oh, ha! Skeptics. I'm used to you.
No, hey, Sarge, come over and feel the wall.
Sergeant Lineker gets up wearily and touches the wall.
Actually, that does feel a bit cold, but it's an old house.
That is amazing. What else can you do to find a ghost?
If only people had open minds like you. But just close your eyes and allow whatever comes along to interact with your personal ether, your mind. You feel the presence after a while. Try and feel your animus.
Feel my what?
Your spirit, your soul. Hold your arms up in the air like me and feel it. With the ghost here, invite him to join us and he may come.
Officer Mudd complies. Sergeant Lineker watches the two of them slightly amused. Arthur peeps out of one eye and then gestures to Sergeant Lineker to join them.
Come on, you too.
Sergeant Lineker joins them with a show of reluctance.
Harry the Hatchet, where are you?
Barry and Jan enter. Jan immediately begins to film them.
Guide us to you, Harry. We are your friends. Help us to help you. Show us you're here. We want to help you and place your spirit at peace.
Keep going. This is good stuff.
Jan waves.
We feel your presence.
Bill enters.
Right. That should work perfectly now.
He tries the light switch, which explodes in a shower of sparks. Jan spins rounds to fill him. The others all look at him too, except Arthur.
Ah! Mrs. Astrid!
He stumbles out the door that he came in through at the same time as Arthur speaks.
Help us!
He flings his arms out sideways and into Sergeant Lineker, who has his hands in the air. He's pushed backwards, touching the door to the secret passageway. The door opens while everyone is looking at Arthur. Sergeant Lineker gives a short cry and the door closes on him. The others turn round to find him missing.
Oh my God! Sarge, where have you gone?
Anna enters.
The spirit of Harry the Hatchet has exposed himself.
He did what?
Where did it go?
What's happened?
At that moment, Sid and Willie enter. Sid is talking. Willie looks unconvinced. He has a book in his hand.
It's all just a misunderstanding.
The sergeant has been carried away by the spirit of Harry the Hatchet. I told you you shouldn't be hostile.
What?
Willie makes as if to rush out, but Sid puts a hand on his shoulder.
Don't do that!
Bring him back, Father.
Who? Me?
You're the man of God, aren't you? You understand all of this.
No, yeah, I guess.
Officer Mudd snatches the book out of Willie's hands and holds it up to his face.
Well, get on with it then.
Right.
He opens the book.
Prepare to bring back a police sergeant. All right. 'Tis the voice of the gangster, I heard him declare. You've tracked me right down. I must sit tight in there, as a duck with its eyelids, so he with his nose.
What?
Trim his belt and his buttons, and turns out his toes.
Are you sure this is right?
Quiet, please. You'll spoil the ritual. Put that camera down, please.
Why?
I need everyone to join hands and form a circle.
Is this going to...
Shh.
Jan puts the camera down on the bar, pointing at them, still running. They all join hands, Arthur somewhat reluctantly. Anna looks rather bemused. Jan tries to look into Willie's book, but he holds it away from her.
All right, eyes closed, everybody.
He refers back to the book.
But when the tide rises and loan sharks are around, his voice has a timid and tremulous sound. Keep your eyes shut. Now you've got the sergeant in some hidden nook, and we want him back right now. You stupid old spook. All right, all together now, loud, and eyes closed. Now you've got the sergeant hidden
Some hidden nook.
And we
and
want
we want him back right now, you stupid old spook.
The door to the secret passageway opens and the sergeant falls back out into the room. The door closes again.
Oh,
What?
They all
What-
crowd round Sergeant Lineker.
What happened? Where'd you go?
I don't know. It went all dark suddenly. I opened my eyes, but it was still dark. It was cold and it smelled damp.
He's experienced the nether regions.
Well, I sort of blundered around a bit. I could hear you talking, but it was all muffled. And then you were all shouting together, and I tripped over something on the ground and suddenly found myself back here again. It was weird.
Oh, thank you, Father. Thank you. You have got an amazing gift there. Amazing. You know, you should give some thought for making a run for Pope.
Sergeant Lineker goes and sits on the couch attended by Officer Mudd. Sid and Willie help dust him down. Jan picks up the camera. She takes Barry aside.
Did you see where he went?
No, I had my eyes closed. Didn't you?
Like hell. I didn't see him come back, but I did get a look at that book. Didn't look like a prayer book or a Bible to me. You want to know something?
What?
I don't think they're priests at all.
What? Well, what do you mean?
Are they acting like clergymen?
They turned round to look at Willie, who was jumping up and down with his arms in the air as he was a few minutes ago.
I see what you mean. Well, who do you think they are?
The opposition.
What? You don't mean... sorry. Who do you mean?
The International Life and Death Television Company, Incorporated.
What? Jim and Gladys?
Obviously. I mean, that's not them, but they've hired stooges before to get the better of you, haven't they? Isn't that why you got me to help?
Well, yeah, but...
Remember the howling banshee of Kalamazoo?
that parrot that they left at the church?
The mysterious disappearing gravestones of King George V?
Well, how was I to know that he was buried in England?
Yeah, well, we're not getting caught out like that again. Wonder if we've been set up here.
But Astrid and Anna, they seem so nice.
Well, that doesn't mean that they haven't called 2 companies to check out the place. Hardly looks like they're thriving.
No, well, what shall we do? Unmask them?
No, they haven't been filming, so we're ahead of them. But be careful what you say. I might just have a look in their room a little later.
How are you going to do that?
You'll see. Come with me. I want to do some exterior shots while it's still bright enough.
Jan and Barry exit. The group around Sergeant Lineker is breaking up when Sergeant Lineker's cell phone rings. He answers it and stands up.
Yes. No, just a bit ruffled. I'll explain later. What?
He motions to Officer Mudd and they exit towards their rooms in the north wing. Sid watches them go and checks to see no one else is around.
The hell was all that? Give me a look at that book.
He grabs it.
Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Simplified for readers of 8 to 12. What are you doing with this?
It's good. It got us out of a mess, didn't it?
Before Sid can answer, Bill comes back in with a multimeter, and as the priests watched him, he takes the switch apart. He sees them looking at them.
Would one of you fathers mind giving me a hand here?
They start to leave, but Bill grabs Sid quickly.
Oh, don't worry. It's not dangerous.
You sure?
Just hold my meter while I check the voltage on the line. Not got enough hands, see?
Bill does as he's told.
Did you turn the power off?
No.
Sid jumps back from the light switch, taking the meter with him.
How I'm going to check the voltage with the power off?
Safely?
It would be 0. Come here.
Sid reluctantly returns to the wall switch.
It's perfectly safe if you know what you're doing.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Just hold still now.
He attaches the probes to the terminals of the switch. Sid and Willie cringe in anticipation.
Ha! Reduced voltage, just as I thought.
He detaches the probes from the switch.
There you are. I told you. Perfectly safe.
Sid and Willie relax. After a pause, the light fitting falls from the ceiling and hits Bill on the head. He collapses. End of scene 4. Scene 5. Later the same day, Astrid and Anna are sitting on the couch. Jan is at one side of the couch, Barry standing at the other side.
Can we go on to the night filming now? Daytime's easy, but in this place where other people are staying, we need to be a little more careful than usual about moving around at night.
That shouldn't be a problem if you're filming in the South End where we've had all the activity. We've got the fathers and the police in the other end. Most of the rooms in the South End are empty. There's just Mr. Mullard in room 9.
Is that Arthur, the guy with the apparatus?
Yes. Oh, and there's also that room that Bill sometimes uses down at the end.
The one with the horse stuff in it?
Horse stuff?
Well, the door was open, so I popped my head in earlier. There seems to be a couple of riding crops, some leather tack lying around. We'd certainly want to film in there. You know, I heard some very odd noises coming out of there last night.
Will you want to film in the garage?
Soon. Maybe not tomorrow. We'll probably be sleeping late if we're filming overnight tonight.
Bill enters. He now has bandages around his head as well as his head, hands and arms. Astrid jumps up to go over to him.
Oh, Bill, how are you feeling?
Oh, not too bad, Mrs. Lund. A bit of a headache, that's all. A couple of stitches. Not too bad, really.
Oh, you poor man. Come in the office. I'll get you a nice cup of coffee.
Well, I wouldn't say no to a drop of gin, actually.
Of course, of course.
She winks at Barry.
Sometimes I can be a very attentive nurse, you know.
She leads Bill into the office. After a second, there is a great crash and a dinging noise.
Oh, dear, was that your foot?
No problem. I've got 2 feet. It was only a small fire extinguisher.
Right. Where were we?
In the garage.
Oh, yes. We'll probably do that later.
Sergeant Lineker enters.
Here's a parcel just arrived for you, Miss Lund.
Ah, that will be Mom's birthday present. Thanks for taking Bill up to the hospital.
They hand over a parcel wrapped up in brown paper that it's clearly a framed painting.
No problem. We needed to go up to town anyway. They seem to know him quite well at the hospital.
Anna has unwrapped the parcel.
What have you got there?
Anna shows him. It is a copy of the painting, American Gothic.
Sarge!
Shh. Well, isn't that something? Where did you get it from?
My old high school friend does really good copies.
Ah.
You can see her signature here. Mom just loves this painting. That's why she changed the name of the hotel.
Oh, really? What was it called before?
The Northern Wisconsin Leghorn Cock. She always said that she found it a bit of a mouthful.
I would have thought that she could have coped with it.
She always goes to see the painting when she's in Chicago, so I got one made for her.
Well, isn't that nice?
It's her birthday in a couple of days. We won't be hanging it up until then. I hope it won't mess up your filming.
No problem. We can edit around it. I think we might be doing a lot of editing for this episode.
Anna props up the painting on the table and they all stand back to admire it. Willie enters, takes a look at the painting and rushes out with a cry.
Ah!
Oh, he really is from Iowa, isn't he?
Right. I have a report to submit, so if you'll excuse me.
Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd exit.
Miss Lund, could we check your bookings for the next few days so we can fit our schedule around the rooms that are occupied?
Sure, just let me
He covers up the painting again.
come through to the office.
Anna, Jan and Barry exit to the office. As they leave, Willie dashes in from the direction of his room.
Sid! Sid!
There's no answer. He looks around helplessly, wondering what to do, and then picks up the wrapped painting and exits to the other side of the building. At the same time, Sid enters from the other side carrying a package that's also obviously a painting.
Willie, Father O'Toole.
He goes off again in the direction that he came from. At the same moment, Willie rushes in from the direction where he ran off. At the same instant, Officer Mudd comes in from outside.
Was someone calling for me?
There's no reply. He leaves again. Sid and Willie come back in from the side which each of them left. Each is carrying the picture wrapped up.
What's with all the yelling? We're trying to be inconspicuous here.
The picture's been moved.
I know, I moved it.
You did? Why?
Too risky hiding in the room. I need to find somewhere better. That's why I've got it here.
No, I've got it here.
No, I've got it.
He unwraps it and shows him the picture.
So what have I got?
He unwraps his picture.
I don't know. Let's have a look.
They hold the paintings side by side to look at them.
Give me that. Hang on. Same frame and everything.
They swap the picture back and forward between them a number of times, so it's hard to tell which is which.
Where did you get this from?
It was in here. I thought you must have left it here.
Why would I do that? Give it to me.
Which one?
The real one.
Which one's that?
I don't know.
Maybe he did 2 of them?
Don't be stupid.
So what's going on?
I don't know.
He observes Anna and quickly pushes the painting which he's holding under a couch cushion. Anna spots Willie holding the other painting.
What are you doing with that picture?
Just admiring it, Miss Lund. The wrapping came off it and I thought I recognized it.
I should think so, but for heaven's sake, keep it a secret.
Officer Mudd is entering from outside, but he stops when he hears this.
It's one of the most famous paintings in America. I paid a lot of money to get this. You wouldn't believe the trouble I had bringing it in here without anyone seeing it.
We would, actually.
Sid gives him a downward gesture with his hand, which Willie interprets as an instruction to sit down on the couch. Sid sees him about to sit on the painting and jerks him upright again.
Yeah!
Quick, give it back to me and I'll wrap it up again. Come on.
As Willie looks at Sid, he reluctantly hands the painting back to Anna, who wraps it up.
Now I need to hide this somewhere it can't be found.
Where would that be?
Somewhere really secret. Go on, shoot.
Right. We were just going.
Officer Mudd is writing all this down in his notebook. Sid and Willie leave in the direction of their rooms. As soon as they have gone, Anna places the painting in the secret passageway. As it closes, Officer Mudd enters promptly.
Good morning, Officer Mudd.
Good morning, Miss Lund. Have you seen the sergeant around?
Yes, he was here a few minutes ago. I think he went to write some reports or something in your room.
Officer Mudd turns to go.
Before you go, could you give me a hand with something?
As long as it's something legal.
As if I would be doing anything illegal.
Officer Mudd looks at us suspiciously. Sergeant Lineker enters.
2 men, even better.
As I'm sure your mother would say.
Excuse me?
Nothing.
I was just going to ask Officer Mudd here to help me move some furniture.
Oh, right. What do you need moved?
That couch, please.
Where do you want it?
Could you just follow me?
Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd pick up the couch and follow her out of the front door. As they leave, Barry and Jan enter from the side.
If we can get most of the filming in a can before the end of the week, we can edit it in a couple days and have it packaged and ready for broadcast by the end of next week. And International Life and Death Television Company, Incorporated, are going to be looking pretty stupid trying to film a week after we've broadcast.
Well, as long as we can get something impressive on video, where did the couch go?
Astrid comes back in with Bill, who now has his foot bandaged too.
Oh, where did the couch go?
Arthur enters.
Mr. Mullard, did you move the couch?
Do I look like a man who goes around moving couches?
Sid and Willie enter again.
Where did the couch go?
It was here 10 minutes ago.
Yes, but where is it now?
Anna comes back in with Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd as he speaks.
Anna, darling, where's the couch?
That moth-eaten and unsavory bit of junk is being replaced with something a bit more modern, which is arriving in about an hour. I just had the call.
So, what have you done with the old one?
At this moment, it's in the yard being reduced to ashes.
She opens a lighter and lights it.
And good riddance, too.
Sid dashes out of the front door. They watch him go.
Is he from Iowa too?
End of scene 5. End of Act 1. Act 2. Scene 1. The next day. At Rise, Jan is on stage with her camera, cleaning the lenses and adjusting. Barry enters and goes over to her.
Where are the ladies?
You mean Target 1 and Target 2? The mother is around somewhere. Don't know about the daughter.
Honestly, Jan, I do not know what you mean.
Let's just get the show recorded before you start on any of your hobbies, right? Speaking of which, we don't have much of a show. A few strange bumps and an old legend isn't going to get an audience to stick around.
Well, I know I have a bit of a reputation in broadcasting circles, but I
Not
honestly.
you. I mean, the story about Harry the Hatchet, that legend.
Well, I see. Well, indeed, we haven't got much to go on. Maybe we should give it up as a bad job. What's next on the list?
An old lady in Michigan. She claims a demon has possessed the soul of her pet duck.
How in the world?
Apparently, it can't swim.
Well, maybe we should give it a few more days, huh?
Okay. But if we get nothing by the weekend, I think we should cut our losses and head out.
Pity. I was just getting comfortable, but I guess you're right.
Sid and Willie come out of one door and head towards the exit.
Morning.
Sid waves in reply and grabs Willie and pulls them outside without speaking.
Well, you're right. We haven't got much. Maybe we can use those two guys as part of the show. That would help things quite a lot. You know, having a couple of bona fide religious guys.
I'm still half convinced they're phony.
Well, they look right.
Anyone looks convincing if they're wearing the right uniform.
Well, what are they doing here dressed up like that then?
I've got no idea. But I have a feeling that they're up to something weird. And they're not just here having some relaxing time off duty, if that's the right expression. And who goes for a week or two away with their boss?
Well,
Okay, sorry, bad example. I know why you got fired by NBC.
I didn't know that intern was his daughter. She would have kept it all quiet until I got flustered and called her Jessie.
Aw, get the names right if you're going to have more than one affair at a time, Barry.
I wasn't.
Well, so who was Jessie?
The dog.
Yeah. Well, getting back to the job at hand, we need to get some better film of something happening that will work on screen, something involving the hotel or the people. I don't want to get those guys involved unless I can be sure they're not going to sabotage the whole thing, deliberately or otherwise.
Arthur rushes in.
Just found something in the barn. I think you two might be very interested in it.
Oh, really? What?
Well, I think you ought to come and take a look.
Jan and Barry look at each other wearily and then follow Arthur out of the front door. After a few seconds, Bill, wearing all of his previous bandages, emerges from behind the bar where he's been all along. Anna enters from the north wing.
Well, that's very interesting.
What is interesting, Bill?
Those television people, they don't think the policemen are real.
What?
She goes over to him.
I heard they were just wearing uniforms and they're behaving in an odd way.
But they have badges and everything. The bill is going to the Chicago Police Department.
Have they paid?
No, not yet. Come to think of it, the sergeant was doing some odd stuff yesterday, playing hide and go seek or something.
Exactly. He wasn't conducting himself consummate with the behavior.
No, not really. Look, Bill, don't say anything to Mom about this. I don't want the first guests who came in with me as the manager to skip without paying. Can you keep an eye on them?
I can while I'm still working here.
Ah. Okay. Keep working for the time being, Bill. We'll get back to this later.
She turns to go.
That's not all I heard. Those TV people,
What about them?
they said that if they don't get some film of the ghost, they're giving up and leaving.
Oh, good grief, no. We're depending on that TV show.
Astrid enters.
I can't believe it.
What's the problem, dear?
The TV folk are going. They haven't got enough material to make a program. I was expecting they'd stay for a couple of weeks.
Did they tell you that?
I heard them talking. They were leaving at the end of the week unless they can get some better film of something spooky.
Thought we'd have longer than this. We haven't even been over the grounds.
Well, dear, if it's real evidence of the presence of Harry the Hatchet they're looking for, we're a little stuck. Although,
Mom,
yes,
I hate to say this, but Barry is the more persuadable one, and we need to make a combined effort to get him to stay. Do you think we can persuade him between us? And if you say, I don't know what you mean, dear, I think I'll scream.
oh, I have an idea.
End of scene 1. Scene 2, half an hour later. Arthur is sitting on the new couch working on another device. He has a few tools around him. Bill enters, bandaged as usual, and comes to take a look at it. Arthur notices after a few seconds.
Oh, what's the problem? Do you need a hand with that? I've got plenty of tools.
Arthur puts his arms around it protectively and looks at Bill suspiciously. Sid and Willie walk in silently behind him, carrying a painting in a different kind of wrapping than previously. They see Arthur and Bill there. Sid pulls Willie back outside again.
Couple of magnets running on the wrong frequency. I need to retune them.
You don't say. I didn't know magnets had a frequency.
Well, there you are then.
I thought, like most people, they were just.
Everyone always ignores the east and west poles. I'm not most people.
Yeah, well, no, you're not. I've got a D for the old TVs in the room.
Why didn't you say? You've got a Faraday spanner too?
Well, I got all sorts of box. Want to take a look?
Oh, yeah.
It's in my room.
They leave toward Bill's room. Sid sticks his head in the door, sees they're gone, and re-enters with Willie.
Have a quick look.
He motions Willie to check that Bill and Arthur have left. Willie goes to the door and gives him a thumbs up.
Where are we going to put the picture?
Just somewhere in the room for now. I don't know, but we need to find the other one and work out which is which.
How?
It doesn't matter.
What?
You know the birthday surprise?
What, where Miss Lund's giving the present to her mother? Yeah.
We are going to be part of it.
I don't get it.
Geez, what else is new? Come on and I'll tell you about our little surprise. We're all being invited and we're going to show Mrs. Lund how charming we can be. But for heaven's sake, call me Father Murphy, not Sid.
How will I remember that?
Geez, I'll write it down, okay?
He produces a small card and writes on it quickly.
Read that back to me, please.
Father S. Murphy, priest. Ah, right, got it.
I hope so.
They leave towards their room, looking around them. As they leave, Astrid stands up from behind the desk and looks very puzzled about what she just overheard. A few seconds later, Barry and Jan walk in the front door. Astrid ducks down behind the desk again.
Well, that was something we managed to get in the can anyway.
A few unexplained marks on the garage floor, a bit more solid, a bit.
Oh, come on. Footsteps going one way into the garage and just ending in the middle of the floor. Oh, we can definitely use that. And I wonder if our friend with the machines managed to find anything.
He points at Arthur's device.
Yeah, right.
They leave in the direction of their room. Astrid pops up again. Anna enters.
Our friend.
What, Mom?
I just overheard these TV people talking about Arthur.
Oh, yeah, Arthur.
They refer to him as a friend.
What? They're in it together? This is starting to look a bit different. What shall we... Oh, hang on, someone's coming.
They duck down behind the bar again, or it should be the desk actually, just as Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd enter in uniform and walk across the room as they talk.
I think the captain is right. Being here at the same time straight after the disappearance.
It might just be a coincidence.
A coincidence? You don't believe in those. Have you forgotten that you're supposed to be a police officer?
They exit towards their room. Anna and Astrid pop up from behind the bar.
Supposed to be a police officer. Oh, good heavens.
This is getting very complicated, darling. I'm starting to wish we'd never seen all of these people.
Don't worry about it, Mom. There are guests in the hotel, paying guests. This is good.
Has anybody actually paid?
Mom, remember, we've got credit card information on every one of them. They could all walk out the door tonight and we'd still get paid. I hope they don't. We could do it with a few more days, but we've got those card numbers. Look out.
They duck down yet again as Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd come back through the opposite way, talking again. They stop.
This reminds me of the job I did a couple of years ago before we got together. I think you were still on probation. That one where I had all of those stolen credit cards and the guy who was the boss of it all turned out to be a monk.
What? A real monk?
Oh, yes. The boss looked around the fancy stuff in the house and said, if this is your idea of poverty, I don't even want to think about what you think is chastity.
They leave out the front door. Anna and Astrid pop up again.
Oh, wow. Mom, I'm going to go into the office and run all the credit cards again now and see what happens. You see if you can stop anyone else leaving.
How am I going to do that, dear?
I don't know. Just do it.
Anna exits into the office. Barry enters.
Ah, Mrs. Lund. I wonder if you could help me.
Boss, Mr. Camp.
Oh, please, do call me Barry.
Certainly. Somehow, camp seems a little inappropriate. Now, what can I do for you, inappropriate or otherwise?
Well, it so happens my professional associate, Jan, wants to do some nighttime filming. Now, as you know, we've had a slight change of plan and would like to take some shots in the garage tonight. Now, the trouble that we're having is a lack of energy.
A lack of energy is the last thing I would have expected from a mature gentleman like yourself.
Oh, yes. Well, actually, it's for the filming. See, the camera has batteries, but the infrared lamps we use for seeing in the dark don't. We often use an electric blanket, too. It can get cold, you know.
Surely there are better ways of keeping a man warm.
Oh, definitely. But it's Jan that will be doing the filming overnight.
I see. She seems like a strong woman, but won't she be scared? We don't want the ghosts of Harry and his pals appearing and putting the willies up her.
Oh, believe me, that's the last thing that's likely to happen.
Ah. It happens that there is a double power socket next to the door. And it also sounds like you are in for a lonely evening.
Somehow, I think not.
Bill and Arthur re-enter.
What's the rubber mallet for?
In case I need to hit anything rubber.
You have a lot of rubber stuff?
Mr. Millard, I see you have another machine in here. Do you think you might work on it in the garage rather than the hotel lobby?
No, Mrs. Lund. This is my ultrasonic recording and playback device, and it's delicate. It's too dusty in here, and I don't want to leave it where I can't keep an eye on it. I can't have people interfering with my reproduction equipment.
I can move it into my workshop, Mrs. Lund.
Much better idea.
Bill picks up the device and holds it to his body.
Right. Off we go.
Careful, the spondylizer will still be hot.
Ah!
There is a puff of smoke from Bill. Arthur rushes in and grabs it from him by the handles. There is a black mark on Bill's body.
Oh, Bill, have you hurt yourself?
Not at all, Mrs. Lund.
Oh, good.
It was the damnable machine that hurt me.
Oh, dear. Where are you injured?
Anna comes out of the office.
I think I burned my belly button.
Good luck finding that in the first aid manual.
Oh, you poor dear. Come with me and I'll bandage it up.
Astrid and Bill head into the office.
He nearly dropped my machine on the floor. He did, and I'm going to need it tomorrow night.
Sid and Willie re-enter and stop.
How do you know that?
It's the anniversary of Harry the Hatchet's death. He's bound to show up. It's traditional.
Sid! Father O'Toole!
That's you.
He points to the pocket with a card that he gave Willie earlier. Will pulls it out.
Father Smurfy! I don't want to be around when the ghost shows up.
What did I tell you, Father O'Toole? You remember? There are no such things as ghosts.
There
There
are
no such things as zombies.
There are no
There are no
such
such
thing
things
as
as
werewolves.
There
There
are no such
such
things
thing
as
as
vampires.
vampires. There's
And
no
no
such
such thing
thing as
as Frankenstein's
Frankenstein's
monster.
Anyone who says otherwise is a lying bastard.
You weren't supposed to memorize that bit. These young priests, what is one to do with them? They tell these spooky tales in the dormitory of the seminary, and some of them think it's true.
I took it as gospel.
Right. Mr. Mullard, when he died in the ambush, this was on the 27th of May, the same day as Mom's birthday?
I'm sure he didn't plan it like that.
No, but better not disrupt things. I've got a special present for Mom, and I'm giving it to her tomorrow night. You're invited. Everyone in the hotel is. I hope you will be able to join us with our little celebrations too, gentlemen. Barry and Jan have already said yes. You do like a little whiskey, maybe?
Is the Pope a Catholic?
How should I know?
So tomorrow night at 7 then, in here. Come with me, Mr. Mullard. I'm going to show you where Bill's workshop is while he's indisposed.
I've seen it.
Well, come along. I'll open the doors for you while you're holding that thing.
They leave.
What was all that Catholic Pope stuff?
It's just something you say when the answer is obvious, like, do bears shit in the woods?
I get it.
And priests never turn down a drink. Never, right? If you're offered a drink, accept.
I won't forget that.
Good, don't.
Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd enter from outside. Willie looks nervous.
Oh, Father, I have another theological question.
Sorry, officers, we don't have time right now.
Nor do we. We're on duty.
Come on, Father O'Toole. I think some prayers are in order.
He bundles Willie out of the room just as Anna re-enters.
Oh, officers, excellent. Are you going to be here tomorrow evening?
Yes, we should be.
Great. We're having a little celebration here tomorrow evening, and I hope you'll be able to join us for a drink or two and the unveiling of Mom's present.
Would that be the painting?
She's just in the office with Bill.
I see.
He burnt himself.
Oh, of course he did.
Actually, that is a bit of a problem. I need to use this glue gun here, and I don't know how it works. Are you any good with this sort of thing?
Oh, well, it's just a hot melt glue gun. Well, you have to plug it in.
Oh, yes. Come over here. There's a PowerPoint over here behind the couch. You can show me.
Who's coming to the party then?
It's not really a party. It's just Bill, who's worked here for years, and the guests in the hotel. Mom doesn't have any family, and we're a bit out in the wilds for neighbors to come. Is that heated up yet?
Give it a minute or two.
These things of Bill's, you never know.
She looks closely at it.
Nothing coming out.
They huddle round the glue gun.
Sometimes they just need a good old push on the glue stick.
Careful now. Ah!
They try to jump back. The glue has come shooting out onto Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd's trousers.
Jeez, that's my uniform, Charlie!
Oh, hold it away from your skin so it doesn't burn you, and stand still. I'll unplug it. Oh my, what a mess.
She pulls the plug. They stand for a few seconds while Sergeant Lineker glares at Officer Mudd.
Well done, Charlie. Well done.
Sorry, Sarge, sorry.
How do we get that off?
I think Bill's probably got some solvent in the garage, which might take it off. If you go and change your trousers, I'll see if I can clean them.
It's a mess, all right. Oh,
What?
I'm stuck to the couch.
Me too.
Oh, no, let me have a look.
She tries to separate them.
Oh dear, you're really solidly stuck now that the glue's gone cold.
Maybe if we heat it up again.
Oh, no, I am not having more hot glue close to my... Can't we do it another way?
I think you're going to have to take your trousers off.
What? No, here? No way. No way.
I could cut off the glued part, but that would ruin your uniform.
I am not telling that to the captain. Can't you cut off a bit of the fabric of the couch?
That couch is 1 day old. It's bad enough I'm going to have to clean it. I'm not cutting it up.
Jeez. Oh, nothing for it then. Come on, Officer Mudd. Step out of those trousers.
What? Really?
Unless you want to stay here.
After a brief hesitation, the two policemen start to take their trousers off. This is awkward as they are stuck together, and to the couch they get a bit wrapped up in each other.
Arch,
What?
can you change the angle of your weapon, please?
What?
What?
Your gun. Your gun. It's digging right into me.
He makes an adjustment, again tries to get free.
This is worse than I thought. The glue soaked through into my underwear.
Oh, no. Me too.
Oh, you're going to have to.
No, I am not removing my underwear.
No, what are we going to do?
It's only a small patch. You can cut a quarter-size bit out of my underwear and I'll be free, I guess. The police department doesn't own my boxers, so it's not a big deal.
I don't want my underthings lacerated.
You want to walk out of here with a bare backside?
Oh, go ahead then. Go ahead.
I just need to get the scissors from behind the bar.
She does so and comes back and starts to try to release them.
Okay, this is awkward.
She gets down on her knees to get better access.
Right, you're going to have to take your trousers down now.
Officer Mudd and Sergeant Lineker look at each other and reluctantly lower their trousers. Anna gets to work, mostly hidden by the couch, while Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd stand there with their trousers down. In the meantime, Barry and Jan appear silently, unnoticed by Officer Mudd and Sergeant Lineker. Jan starts to film as usual. Sid and Willie also arrive silently, followed shortly after by Astrid and Bill. They all stare for some seconds at Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd with their trousers down. Clearly on her knees, Anna's head suddenly appears from behind the couch.
I think I've just about finished you off, Sergeant. I'll get on to Officer Mudd in a second.
Well, it looks like the party has already started.
He notices Jan filming and puts his hand over the camera. Anna, Sergeant Lineker and Officer Mudd spin round to look at them.
No, I was just...
She holds up the scissors rapidly. Bill, Barry, Willie and Sid place their hands in front of their groins at once. Blackout. End of scene 2. Scene 3. The next evening. Lights up on an empty stage. Sid sticks his head round the door. He sees the room is empty and enters. He beckons Willie in after him. Willie's carrying the painting.
Where shall I put it?
Under the couch.
Willie starts to put it under the couch cushion as previously.
No, not there. Underneath, flat on the floor.
Ah, right.
If we leave that there, we won't have to carry it down the corridor. When we get a minute, we can compare it with the other one, work out which one's which, and then take the real one.
What then?
What? We leave as quickly as possible. Say we've been called away to marry somebody or something.
Got it. I think.
He pulls out the card out of his pocket and writes it down.
Can we go tonight if we get it?
I'm not sure. That might be a bit sudden. Why?
It's just that with it being the anniversary.
Say it.
But Sid.
Say it.
There are no such thing as ghosts. There are no such thing as zombies. There are no such thing as werewolves. There are no such thing as vampires. There's no such thing as Frankenstein's monster.
Got it?
Got it.
Right then, back to the room before everyone else arrives.
They exit. As they leave, Officer Mudd and Sergeant Lineker come in the front door.
I think today has been almost a complete waste of time. Nothing. We have found nothing.
Nothing found, but not a waste of time. We've eliminated a few places, a few people. Old-fashioned police work. Less to look at tomorrow. Those guys have gone to ground nearby, and I think it's likely they're still around here somewhere.
Sergeant Mudd sits down on the couch. Officer Mudd sits down on the couch. He kicks his heel on the painting underneath the couch and takes it out and looks at it.
What have you got there?
It's that copy of the painting Miss Lund is going to give her mother tonight.
Oh, geez, put it back quick before she shows up.
As he replaces the painting under the couch.
She said she was going to hide it somewhere really secret.
Now, that's clever. You see, almost hiding in plain sight. If she stuck it in the back of the cupboard or something, her mother or that Bill fellow will find it, looking for the vacuum cleaner or something. But put it here, where people are walking past it all the time and just take it for granted. Nope. Clever bit of thinking, that is.
What are we going to do if we don't find the real one?
Oh, don't you worry. We'll find it. The person who lays his hands on that painting first will be getting promoted. I can tell you, and I intend for that person to be me. I might just make captain after all of these years.
Anna enters.
I wonder if you could help me once again. Perhaps I should put you on the payroll.
Sergeant Linniger and Officer Mudd look deadly serious.
It hasn't got anything to do with hot glue, does it?
No, nothing to do with glue. I just need a hand in getting the beer from the car. Normally I'd ask Bill, but he's gone to see the urgent care.
What? Again? What happened?
It seems he was repairing his electric shaver and had a problem.
Let me guess. Electric shock?
No, he was oiling it and
Poisoned himself?
oh no, he fixed the shaver and was getting shaved, but he got the wrong kind of shaver lubricating oil.
How many kinds does he have?
None, as it turns out. It was wrongly labeled.
And it was?
Kerosene. He set his face on fire. Then he tried to put it out with aftershave and burned his foot when he tried to stamp on it.
Yeah. He doesn't have any guns, does he?
Mom took the cartridges away and hid them.
Good plan.
Can you help me before Mom comes? It'll take both of you.
Nah, I'll do it.
Speaking as they make their way out of the front door, their voice fades as they go out.
Thanks. It took me such a long time to wrap Mom's present up. That thing is quite big, and it took me a few tries to get the paper around it and the pink bow and everything. It was worth the effort, though. It looks great now, all wrapped up.
They're gone. Officer Mudd paces slowly, waiting, and then looks thoughtful. He goes up to the door and checks they're gone and pulls out the obviously not wrapped painting. He holds it up and looks at it, hardly able to believe his eyes. He gives a little skip and heads towards the door.
Sarge! Sarge! Promotion for the person who gets their hands on it, huh?
Jan speaks from offset.
Another week here? Are you serious?
Officer Mudd rapidly places the painting back under the couch as Jan and Barry enter.
What are we going to do here for another week?
We're going to film, investigate, what we usually do.
Oh, yeah? When did that start? Why can't we just do a lot of shots with you and one of the locals whispering in a dark cupboard with a red lamp and sound effects later like we usually do?
I'm expecting to get my hands on something very soon. I can feel it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you expect to get your hands on soon, and we will talk about it later.
Oh, good evening, officer.
Sid and Willie enter.
Hello, will you be doing any filming tonight? Oh, hello, fathers.
Good evening, blessings.
Yes, we will. And as a special favor, we'll also be taking a video of Mrs. Lund being given her present.
You will?
Yes, I promised Anna. She's been so good to us. I have it all worked out, and no, it won't interfere with our filming later.
I see. Done a little shooting script, have you? Storyboard? Got the male and female parts all carefully written?
I do have a short script, and the only speakers are female.
Oh, of course they are. You were always very keen on female parts.
Anna and Sergeant Lineker re-enter, each carrying a few boxes of beer.
Oh, Jan, great. Are you all set to do the filming later?
Almost. Need a couple of things. Can we move the couch back a little bit?
Sure, let's put this beer away first.
Jan, Barry, Officer Mudd, Sergeant Nick and Anna all pick up their beer and take it to the office, leaving Sid and Willie on their own.
Quick, get it out of there.
How are we going to do the swap now?
I'll think of something, but hide it.
Voices from the office. Willie quickly places the painting behind the bar. Jan, Barry, Officer Mudd, Sergeant Lineker and Anna all re-enter just as Arthur comes in.
Okay, my plan is that we all hide in here, and when Mom comes back from...
The phone goes.
Hello, Bill. Oh, really? Oh, that's too bad. No, just get a taxi. We'll pay for it. Yeah, sure. Don't worry about it. We'll see you when you get here as soon as you can. We'll keep you some beer. Don't worry. Bye. It looks like Bill's going to be late. They want to run some tests on him at the urgent care.
Well, do you think we should wait until he arrives before we start?
Oh, no, he doesn't know when it'll be. Are you ready for the filming?
More or less, but let's move the couch now.
She goes to move it.
No, don't move that couch. That is no job for a delicate young lady.
No.
The sergeant and I will do it.
Well, that seems to be what we do around here.
But not yet. Not yet.
Why?
Feng Shui. It's one of my specialties.
You never said you did martial arts.
What are you talking about?
He's right.
No. Yes. We can't just move things about in any old way. We have to
Balance things in the natural world. That couch is in commanding position. We need to balance the 5 elements, or we may never see Harry the Hatchet here again.
Charlie, are you...
Sergeant, your officer is blessed with wisdom.
Oh, geez, not you too.
Yes, he is.
You move that couch at your peril if you move it now.
When can we move it, please?
I need to consult my astrological tables.
How long will that take? We haven't got time to wait while you go through your books or almanacs or whatever.
Don't be stupid. I've got an app on my phone. This is the 21st century, you know. Okay, we can move it in half an hour. You agree?
He gives the phone to Officer Mudd, who looks at it bewildered.
45 minutes, I'd say.
Oh, actually, you're quite right.
Okay, I can get a shower. Back here in 45 minutes to move the couch. We should still have enough time before Mom arrives. That okay with everyone?
Oh,
Fine.
Sure.
They disperse through the various doors except Officer Mudd, who remains sitting on the couch. Sid and Willie are reluctant to leave, but eventually they go. When alone, Officer Mudd gets up and looks under the couch. There's nothing there.
What on earth?
Blackout. End of scene 3. Scene 4. 45 minutes later. Anna walks in with Jan and Barry. They stand and look at the couch. Happy birthday banners and other decorations have been put up.
Just take it back about 5 feet.
She and Anna move the couch back. Barry conspicuously does not help.
Just a moment. That might interfere with...
What?
Actually, don't worry about it. No, we're going to be all right.
They put the couch down.
That's fine. I just need to bring this in now.
She wheels a trolley from the office to just in front of the desk. There are glasses on bottles on top, but the contents of the middle shelf are hidden by a towel or such like. Jan sets up a camera pointing at the couch. She produces a microphone out of a bag and places it on the couch in readiness. Officer Mudd and Sergeant Lineker enter with Arthur behind them. Arthur is wearing a hat made of metal foil.
I don't care. You can have all the crystals you want in the car and they won't help you in a wreck.
That's where you're wrong. I use selenite with osmanthus, which is well-known healing properties.
I don't care if you have Selena Gomez and Ozzy Osbourne in the car. If I see you without a seatbelt, you're getting a ticket.
Skeptics. I don't know how you put up with him.
Sid and Willie enter. Sid tries to have a quiet look behind the bar, but stops when Arthur points at him.
I don't know which is worse, skeptics like your boss or these lot with their beads and silly costumes.
Come on, gentlemen. It's a party and we're all friends. And drinks are on the house on this special evening.
Well, I'm going to have a gin and tonic.
That's the way. Help yourself.
She spots Sid looking behind the bar.
Drinks are over here tonight.
Yes, right.
He reluctantly comes away to get a drink, but motions Willie to stand by the bar.
Now we just need to wait for Mom to arrive and we can all surprise her. Now, Father, would you like a drink?
Sid nods at him.
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
I'll get you a beer.
Well, done much of this, have you?
What?
Whatever it is you're doing here.
Well, we might have to leave in a hurry if Sid, Father, if we have to leave to get married.
Jan comes over and steers him away.
What are you doing?
Oh, you're right. That man's no more a priest than I am.
That confirms it then. Get the last of the filming done tonight, and then we leave in the morning. Get it edited back at the ranch, and then it's ready for broadcast in a week.
I suppose you're right. Pity. I was hoping.
Jan sees Officer Mudd and Sergeant Lineker coming over with drinks.
Shh, small talk.
Oh, Sergeant, I was wondering something about Harry the Hatchet.
Oh, yeah?
Why was he called Harry the Hatchet when the pictures all have him with a Tommy gun?
I really wouldn't like to say, Mr. Van de Kamp. It was a bit before my time.
Maybe he raised chickens.
Oh, quick, quiet. Mom's coming. Hide.
They scamper into positions to conceal themselves, Sid and Willie behind the bar. Anna turns the light out. It's dark as they wait in silence. A strange, distant knocking sound can be heard.
Listen, did you hear that?
Shh.
Astrid enters from the front. She's hardly made it in when the lights go on and everyone shouts.
Surprise!
Good heavens, what is all this?
Happy birthday, Mom.
Oh, is this all for me?
Of course, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Lund.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, this is a very nice surprise. But quickly, Anna, what's going on in the garage?
Nothing right now.
She looks at Jan, who shakes her head.
I thought I saw a strange light in there just now. I must have imagined it.
Harry!
He snatches up his recording device and rushes out.
I think we might have to go soon.
No, we won't.
The lights flicker. They look up.
Is the camera ready?
Oh, yes.
It's probably nothing, but
What?
look.
Mist has started to seep under the door from the south wing where the ghost is said to walk. Jan spins around and sets her camera recording. Silence. Suddenly the lights go out. There are gasps and whimpers from Willie and Officer Mudd. Even Sid and Sergeant Lineker are unnerved. A strange light starts to play on the mist. Gradually, a figure of a 1920s gangster can be made out, moving awkwardly. This goes on for some seconds. The onlookers frozen in their places.
Just a minute.
He reaches under the cover of the trolley and reveals a projector shining on the mist. There are groans and uproar.
All right, put the light on.
Anna switches the light on sheepishly.
You spotted our little surprise there. Just a bit of fun Mom and I set up to help the evening along. Are you all right, Father?
Willie has half collapsed on the couch.
Keep filming. We can use all of this.
Father, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Arthur rushes in.
There's something evil in the garage and it's coming this way somehow.
Really, what are you... Anna?
Anna holds up her hands as if to say, nothing to do with me. There is more knocking.
Take no notice. Remember what you learned. Say it now.
There's no such thing as ghosts. There's no such thing as zombies. There's no such thing as werewolves. There's no such thing as vampires. There's no such thing as Frankenstein's monster.
There. What else is there to be frightened of?
Suddenly the secret passageway opens. A figure steps out entirely swathed in bandages like the mummy. Willie, Officer Mudd and Sergeant Barry scream and run out of the doors nearest to them. The figure pulls the bandages off his head. It's Bill. He reaches into the secret passage and pulls out the painting, which is wrapped in gift paper.
You might want this, Miss Anna. Happy birthday, Mrs. Lund. Is there any beer?
Blackout. End of play.
All right.
Thank you very much, cast.
Yes, first of all, thank you to the cast. What a fantastic group of actors tonight. Well done as often we see. All right, we'll begin our discussion topics. If you enjoy theater, you'll enjoy the St. Louis Writers Group reading because we ask for your comments. It's all part of helping the author strengthen his play. So this format on Zoom, it's very difficult for me to see everyone, to try to call on people. I think the best thing is just if you have a comment, unmute yourself, to put yourself back on camera and speak out, please. Just try not to interrupt another speaker. And of course, all comments should be made in a professional and courteous manner. The playwright cannot answer direct questions. In fact, during the discussion, the playwright cannot speak. Instead, he is encouraged to listen to all comments without trying to answer questions or defend the script. And then we will give Dave the final word. So our first question deals with your immediate response. And I guess I'll put it this way. What grabs your attention about this play?
This is Gwyneth speaking. Just that it's so well done as a farce, because you have to imagine all the physical stuff going on, which is a bit difficult on Zoom, but farce, when it's done really well, you know, is incredibly entertaining and funny. And just listening to all the stage directions and everything, I can see this working really well. Plus the double entendres and the terrible jokes. I think it would work really well.
Richard here. I second what Ron says. It's got all the elements of farce. The two pretend vicars, the secret passage, people running in and out, props that are mistaken for each other. The bear. Does a bear? What was the line? Does the priest know? Does the Pope shit in the woods? I mean, it's all there.
Mm-hmm. I like Father Smurfy. Smurf.
Fun. Any other immediate reactions? It could be something other than something that great. It could be needs more work or interesting characters. It could be that is touching, whatever. Any other thoughts on immediate responses?
I'd just like to say that, so I know Dave from his other life at the racetrack, and I've heard of what he has shared, some of the things that he does, and it's absolutely delightful. My favorite part, and I would love to see this, is the couch. The two people on the couch and the cutting away and the hot gluing is hilarious, and I would just love to see that part staged. So thank you for such a delightful time. Thanks.
Thanks for the comment. Other initial responses before we move on?
Hi, I'm Rocky, and I'm also a friend of Dave's from the track, and what a privilege to be able to see the other side of what he does. The sense of humor in this is it's just a delight, and I really have what a lovely way to spend an evening. Thank you so much.
Thanks
for tuning in with us. We're glad to have new people joining. All right, then we'll move on to the next question. Is the author's premise clear, and is it effectively developed? Just go ahead and speak up.
As if there's only one premise here. There were about 6 or 8 of them floating around, but I think they were generally very well developed. Character motivations were clear and believable.
Good.
Hey, Jen Kerner here. Hi. I appreciated the fact that all of those different premises did converge on one that was consistent throughout, that being the paintings. So all of those different premises were just branches of the one, which I really enjoyed how well those came together.
Good. Any other comments on premise before we move on? Okay, we'll move on to the characters then. Are the characters?
Rob,
Yeah, somebody, go ahead. Jim.
the premise is to entertain the heck out of us, I think, and that was accomplished. The dialogue is so clever. You know, this is the second time I've run through it, and I was amazed how many times there was like a quick little clever double entendre that I had missed the first time through. It was remarkable. So yeah, the premise is entertain the audience, and that was accomplished. Great job, Dave.
Yes. I think it was my initial response too, but what said what was the thing that grabbed me was just the entertainment value of the play. All right, let's specifically talk about the characters. Are the characters clearly defined and developed? Are they believable in the context of this type of play? And is there sufficient contrast among them?
I would like to see a little more fear from the priests if the cops are there. They don't seem to mind terribly that the cops are there. In which case, I think you can bring up tension a little bit of the cops and the priests being in the same room, you know. I would like to see more of Jan. There was a comment that was kind of a throwaway, that she was interested in women too. So if we threw her in the mix with Barry as hitting on Astrid and Anna, I think that could be really funny. I wonder if Officer Mudd and Willie are a little too much alike, and if there are ways to make them different. Those are my initial thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from the standpoint of Barry, except for those two lines where he kind of bites at Jan, I was shocked at that point. It was like, oh my God, she must be gay, because there was nothing else up to that point that led me to believe that. And so I really wasn't sure if I was just being a jerk or if I was making, you know, some snotty remark about her sexuality. So I would agree with that last comment, that something a little more there to make that known beforehand would be helpful, I think. Flesh out.
And maybe a little bit more titillation of Barry and Jan and competing over the women about which one they like better. I think that could be hysterical. So yeah.
I love the concept of Bill. Okay, one of the great jokes all through the thing is he's constantly getting hurt. And yes, I know the whole point it is he's supposed to be wrapped up in bandages at the end of the show. I don't know. I just love the concept of him there. Everything happens to him. I mean, there's a lot of your comedy right there. I mean, the character there really isn't a whole lot except that he's a punching bag, but that seems to be enough.
Bill's going to require a stunt double-double.
Yeah, not only a stunt double-double, some of the effects are going to be, yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do about that belly button thing, though.
Yeah.
And all of the characters are, I'm sorry, I'm talking out of turn, but all of the characters were.
No, you're fine, Don, go.
Really, really, really fun to follow. And that couch that they took out, all of them need to be there with therapists, I believe. Just my own thoughts. And I like the idea about the gangster and everything everything that went on. I don't know. One minute I felt I was watching the episode, and I'm not, trying to marginalize the thing, David's thing, but one minute I thought I was watching an episode of Baby Falcon Towers and Arsenic or Old Lace and other stuff.
I was reminded of that too. Arsenic and Old Lace.
Mm-hmm.
Faulty Towers, high praise.
Yeah.
There was one.
Go ahead.
There was one slight maybe gap. Maybe I missed something, but I was surprised that the police didn't suspect the priests. They knew they were looking for somebody who had gone to ground somewhere near here. Why weren't they looking more at the people in the room? Or maybe that was covered and I missed it. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think it was covered.
Well, is that partially because the police are so inept? I mean, I took that as an inept, and obviously priests don't do things like that. That's how I took it. They're not very good policemen. And
Well, I'm wondering also if there's something else, because the police staying in the hotel, I think, is really strange. It'd be interesting to see that, especially with the fact that they have to do all the work around the place, that they're cajoled and doing all the work around the place, that the sergeant doesn't really want to investigate the case. That would be something interesting. Like, he's looking for it. Oh, this looks like this is a great place for me to, we'll have the city pay for a little vacation. If we work, and if we don't, oh well, so.
And I mean, I have to say, again, like, this is a farce. So, the police are often, bumbling and busy not getting anything right. So.
They don't need a balloon either, really.
I felt like the characters were exaggerated and characterized enough in a really suitable way for a farce for this time.
Yeah.
All right, we better move on to dialogue. Say that again.
I'm sorry. I'll wait for you. Are you done?
No, go ahead.
Did I miss the reason why they are vicars and not priests?
Because they don't know.
Serious question. Did I miss that reason?
Yeah. Because they don't know what, because he doesn't know.
They don't know what they are. They don't know that they're vicars and priests.
No, but at the beginning, hold on.
It's ketchup.
At the beginning, they make a
beard,
point.
Aaron.
At the point, they make a point at the beginning of saying, "Oh, we're vicars and not priests," and then the rest of the time they call each other priests, and everybody calls them priests.
Because he corrects him.
Yeah.
The other guy corrects him.
Well, then I did miss it, and I thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I think that's right. I think
we also kind of discussed a little about that when we did the read through too, that nobody ever calls them vicars here.
Well, a vicar is Church of England anyway. It's not Catholic, but because they're bumbling and they don't get it. Like you said, the one doesn't get it right and the other one corrects him.
Okay, I did miss it.
It is much more common in Great Britain, but actually in the Catholic Church, I mean, the pastor
How would you know,
is,
Will? How would
is
you
the
know?
vicar, because I work for the Catholic Church.
Oh.
Yeah,
I work for our Catholic priests.
I think the idea was that they don't know what they're doing. I mean, I think this question of the vicar, and this may not be the right point, Rob, and I apologize, but there are a couple of points where clearly the language was British English, not American English. PowerPoints, trousers, vicar, I think was another example where I think in the context they would need to be changed to American English words since it's in America.
Robert,
Well, that's another
next question, which is the dialogue and the use of language. Is it effective, realistic? Did you hear any words and so on? So perfectly did for the segue.
Well, I've segued. That was all I had. Those are the ones I noticed anyway. Yeah.
Well, I actually had a question. David, why did you decide to set it in Wisconsin of all places?
David can't answer yet, but we can answer.
Okay. Well, okay, good point. But let me throw something at him then. The Wisconsin accent is really fun, and there's ways to make fun of it. So, if that's something that could be added, I think that might help. especially if one of the police officers had a Wisconsin accent. I think it would be great. So.
And they kept making a point of saying, oh, he's from Iowa, which is a great Wisconsin joke. But the name of the hotel is Northern Wisconsin. And I'm not sure that somebody from Northern Wisconsin, having worked in Green Bay, excuse us, would say he's from Iowa, and especially since Grant Wood is from Iowa. And that's such an important thing. I think somebody from Northern Wisconsin would say he's from Minnesota or he's from North Dakota. Not Iowa. Northern Wisconsin, Iowa is not a joke.
Also,
Now that we've cleared that up.
Yeah, and the police are from Chicago. Wisconsin's a little bit outside their jurisdiction. You could probably make them Milwaukee.
I was assuming that the painting was stolen from Chicago and they're following it.
Well, it's probably from Chicago, but the thing is, going across state lines.
Yeah, it's a federal issue. That's right.
Yep. It becomes a federal issue, and even if crooks do cross it, Chicago doesn't have jurisdiction. It'll probably investigate by somebody from Milwaukee.
But again, it is a farce, you know. Like if the audience is worried about that sort of thing, I think there's a problem.
Well, no, I don't know about that, because that's the sort of thing that people does distract. I mean, it's a farce, but farce doesn't work on things not being
they don't have
No, I know, but how many people are going to know that Northern Wisconsin people don't say that about Iowa?
But a lot of people would know Chicago cops can't operate in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And why do they have to be police? Why can't they be federal agents? They totally could be federal agents. It would be fine.
Could be FBI.
Yeah.
Then it'd have to be more serious.
No.
No, then it's even funnier when they're not.
Right.
Oh no, something about the cops, Chicago, stick together, the hot glue. I don't know. Right, never mind.
All right. Well, thank you for that great discussion about
Just jump
about
back. If I
dialogue.
jump back to what the vicar and the priest and that would be something fun to play off of, to go to Monsignor. You do refer to the Pope. You could say pastor. There's so many titles, and since they're so confused anyway on what to be called, that would be fun to continue.
That's another interesting idea.
Mm-hmm. And I know, for instance, in Wisconsin, there's probably more Lutherans than Catholics.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot more Lutherans.
Right. So you could have some fun with that.
Yeah, and their clergy are called the same thing, especially if you're doing American Evangelical Lutheran Church or Missouri Synod. They're called priests. They're called some of them call them fathers, etc. Yeah.
Well, Sid could be a Monsignor. I mean, that would delineate the seniority very, very nicely.
I think I'm going to move us on, if you don't mind, to the dramatic effect, so we can. We're giving Dave some good input, I think, but we've got a few more questions to cover. What about the dramatic effect? Is the opening too slow or fast? Is the play too long or short? And is the denouement or final resolution effective? Does the script hold your interest?
I think my favorite bit is Bill being the ending. It's the entire thing is a setup for Bill to walk out bandaged up like the mummy, and I love that it's this unobtrusive setup. I thought that was really effective.
Mm-hmm. Because the ending doesn't really resolve anything. You never even find out which is the real picture anymore. The crooks don't get caught. Just Bill shows up as the mummy.
Hello, is there any beer?
I think from a directorial point of view, it's good to have Bill be a handyman because it gives him an excuse to be all over the set, and that makes it a very visually interesting kind of thing. And it's also good for Astrid and Anna because they have to be all over the set too, you know. So I think that's really a strong choice for a hotel. I wasn't that thrilled with I felt a little like, I mean, I may be the voice of, I might be alone here, but I felt the denouement was not as strong as it could be. I would like something more. I don't know what happens to any of the characters after Bill walks out, and I don't understand why it's over. So I guess that's just me.
I think I can imagine where some of the audience would be satisfied maybe, and some of them would feel a little cheated that it just was a long joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other comments about the length of the play?
The ending, I liked the ending. I thought the mummy was really shocking, but like I agree with some of the people saying it didn't resolve anything. I think some of the audience members would say, you know, like you said, will they get arrested, or will it wasn't resolved, the plot line.
Yeah. If you do something to resolve it, a lot of those plot lines first, and then Bill comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you got something.
I felt
and then there could be a huge story on the news about this crazy hotel, which will get them all the publicity that they need. So.
In terms of.
All right, I'll move this along to another. Go ahead.
I just wanted to comment in terms of, did it feel long or how was the pacing? I think the Zoom medium interferes with that enough that I can't really tell.
It does add a challenge.
Right.
Hey, Robert, but just say a bit more about the ending. I mean, I'll be interested, obviously David can't speak now, but obviously that's an issue I'd like him to speak about the ending, what his intention was. And I think because it's a sudden, unexpected ending on Zoom, I mean, it really surprised me that it ended there. But because this isn't a great medium to see how the show goes on, it's hard to see how that would work. It just seemed I don't know we need to resolve anything, but I don't know where it left us. I don't mind it being unresolved. I just wasn't sure where it had left us. Here's the pitch, this is your picture, and you know, you're going to need this, and then it just sort of ended. So, you know, I don't mind it being unresolved. I just don't know what was unresolved, you know, where it had left us at all, I think, was more of my immediate reaction to it.
Okay, are there staging or production problems of any kind? Too many characters or sets or any other staging issues?
You want a big space, but other than that, I don't see a real problem. I'm wondering if there's a way to make levels on the space to give it some stairs somewhere. And are there enough doors? It's a farce. So my question is, are there enough doors on the stage? There's definitely hallways where I think David did a really good job of having people come in and leave at the same time. I think that's really important to a farce. Especially when something's left behind, like the couch is gone. Where'd it go? Oh my God, I'm freaking out. So I think that's really strong. From a director standpoint, I wasn't thrown by anything. I wasn't like, oh, there's no way we can do this. I was more of like, how can we do it? And it wasn't like, oh, it's impossible. I wouldn't know how to do it. So that's what I think.
Couple of the things of Bill getting injured might be a little tricky. Timing of something falling from above on him, that's always you got to watch out. And how to get a device to burn him and issue a puff of smoke.
The puff of smoke is easy. The reaction is, the actor who plays Bill has to be very nimble. It's just the way it's going to be. So.
From the standpoint of somebody who's never directed a thing in her life, I'm curious about how the hot glue on the trousers scene is going to work costume-wise.
That's not Velcro. It would be one way.
Yeah,
There's all sorts of tricks.
way. The stuff that goes on us would be like hand sanitizer, which looks like hot glue when it's liquefied.
A lot of it can be just acting, though. A lot of it can be just like, I can't get up, you know. So.
Okay, then the final question is the script marketable, or what specific work does it need to make it sellable? we cover so much of this, you know, through the other questions. I know it's a hard one to kind of answer anything specific. I could see
think
it on
it's,
stage.
I apologize to everyone. I tend to talk a lot. But I think it's marketable. I think it's totally doable. It would definitely work as either as a big play or even a community theater stage play, you know. So I mean, it's not like there's nothing in the script that's like, oh no, this is impossible, we can't do it. For example, there are a lot of groups that won't do Phantom of the Opera because everybody's like, how do I throw a chandelier on the stage? I have no clue. And there you go. But there's nothing here that you can't work with. And it's definitely interesting to use the hotel as a new space, considering that COVID just did happen. I'm not sure there's enough mention of COVID, since you only really mention it once at the beginning of the play. And there are things you can do with that, especially with masks. If you have people coming in with their masks, and people can have, there can be mistaken identity and ridiculous masks all over, you know, things like that. I also was wondering, it would be really nice to see Astrid walk by in her S&M gear. That would be fun. You know, so, you know, just have an excuse. Maybe she's slapping Barry as they walk through the lobby. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that it's got a lot of potential, and there's some missing parts to it though. I wouldn't say it's ready just yet. I think a rewrite would be good for it. That's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. From the standpoint of marketability, I mean, it's fun entertainment. So from that aspect, you've got, you know, easy to find an audience for it, I think. But once the rewrites are done, it'll be a stronger piece.
Oh yeah, any community theater would probably do something like this. You got a big enough cast to draw in other people. It's a comedy. Comedies always work. It's got action and movement all over the stage. And I have to admit one thing: the set isn't anywhere near as complicated as trying to do Noises Off.
Right. No, that's the worst set ever. That is the worst set ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not a hard farce and farces are one of the hardest things to produce well, because it's all about timing and delivery. So, no, you would need some actors who are strong enough to play the parts, but that's not asking for the moon. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's time to turn it over to Dave. Dave, first of all, why Wisconsin? And then from there, anything else you want to speak to?
Okay, why Wisconsin? Wisconsin only really because it's relatively close to Chicago, and I do know Wisconsin reasonably well, and I know people from Wisconsin always seem just so nice to me. And the painting is in the museum in Chicago, of course, and if it's stolen from there, they can't take it too far. So that was just Wisconsin. I did think about them taking it further north, but then I kind of risked trying to do a sort of comedy version of Fargo, if you can imagine such a thing, which might be quite a good idea, actually, a musical version of Fargo, you know.
You're not the first person.
Maybe I'll write it next, you know. Why are you looking so chipper? No, I'm relatively surprised that people didn't point out more about the technical difficulties, but I know Simon's done a lot of directing, because I thought about this and I thought, oh God, the set is so complicated. There's a secret passageway, there's 5 doors, including that. There's a couch, but you know, if you think it's doable,
it's totally doable.
Yeah, the hot glue thing with them getting stuck to the couch, I envisage being done with magnets. Because that's relatively easily done.
You might need somebody to. I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
No,
I was going to say you might need somebody to hide in the couch to help rip off stuff.
Somebody hiding in the couch. I never thought about that. The business about the loose ends did bother me. when I thought about it afterwards. I was just talking to Mary the other night saying, you know, we never did resolve what the which painting was which. I don't mind the priests getting away, the thieves getting away or anything like that. I thought, no, we really should try and work out which picture is which, and we simply didn't get to that. But I did worry that it was getting a bit long, because this script is over 100 pages. It's probably the longest one I've written, with a cast of 10, starting to think, but it is very much a first draft. The only things which have changed since I wrote the thing were really Mary going over it and proofreading it and putting in about 1,000 commas, which I always miss out, and a couple other things. The Britishisms were brought out after the first reading, about Vickers, PowerPoints, and a few other things. I might need to adjust that round a little bit. I still do that sort of thing. The other things which I took notice of, the Jan's character, which Michelle brought out beautifully, I thought. And I apologize for giving you such a small part, Michelle. I know you're used to being the star quite justifiably, but I mean, you did a lovely job on that. But I think I could do more with Jan, bring out more of her sexuality. That sort of occurred to me a little bit later on, but I'm always a little bit wary about that sort of thing. But it's a farce. You haven't got to take it too seriously, I suppose. Federal agents instead of policemen, good idea. That would get rid of that little problem. The plot gave me quite a lot of headaches. Those people who've been in the writers group and got long memories will remember that I presented the first act of this about 3 years ago. And I really didn't know what to do with the plot, so I put it down, and as Mary could tell you, I picked it up about 3 weeks ago and thought, right, I've had an idea, I know how to finish this off, and then just wrote it all pretty quickly, which was my normal method, and just typed it all up. So it is very kind of rough at the moment, but the comments I've had will help me quite a bit. And I forget who said they thought possibly Sergeant Lineker didn't really want to investigate it. That I might go into a little bit further, because then develop that character. So I'd like to develop Sergeant Lineker a bit further, and I'd like to develop Jan a bit further. Officer Mudd and Willie being very similar, that was partly the intent. Just one happens to be dishonest and one happens to be honest, but they're both a bit dim. So I probably don't really want to change that. But apart from that, I've got some really good ideas now. It didn't take that long, so if it stretched to another 5 or 6 pages where things got resolved in a sensible sort of way, I don't think that will be a problem.
I can speak to that, David. I don't know how many farces you've read, but Fadel's plays, he's the famous farcican. His plays go on forever.
Yeah.
And I was in a production of Charlie's Aunt, and that play is 3 acts long. I mean, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Noises Off, and I actually started thinking about this when Mary and I were in Noises Off, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, was it something like that? When Mary played Mrs. Clackett and I played Selzen, the drunken burglar. Great play, but very, very physical, and like I think it was Brad that said that set is so complicated. So it's certainly not as complicated as that, but the set is a little bit complex. Whether the projector projecting onto the mist would produce a usable image of a ghost, I don't know. It would take experimenting.
It would show up on whatever the background was. So if you did it on a blank wall and had the mist, then it would probably work.
Yeah.
I think.
I would just need the right technical director to say, here's what we have to do. How do we do that? And I'm sure there are many different ways. Like I said, that's not like scaring me. That doesn't scare me. saying, okay, at this point, the cast has to rip off the set and it has to disappear. That is scary. That's like, what? How am I going to do that?
Which is exactly what they're having to do with noises off. They have to turn the whole.
Yeah, that thing turns it around, right? It's really tough. So no, I don't see this as difficult. I don't.
Or you have to drive a 4-horse cart on stage and empty things out and take it off.
Right. You know, I mean, I had to, as long as you have the physicality, I think that's okay. I mean, I think that play you did at DeSmet, first run did at DeSmet, had a couple of these issues and they didn't seem that horrible. I forgot what it was. It was a couple of years ago. It was the Ghost play.
Oh, yeah, that was Jason's. Yeah, we had a hidden door. We had door that went one way and didn't the other. Yeah, there was a lot of the stuff. Plus, we had some of the same problems with David's other play, The Other, in which we had to have debris falling down on people. And
the other side.
The other side.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I can just give a slightly different view from what you're hearing. First of all, I wouldn't make it much longer. You know, yeah, these plays you talk about that are long, yeah, and they feel long. I like the length, so I wouldn't make it much longer. If you can find a way of making it clear what's happening, I don't think you need to resolve all these issues and come out with a nice tiny bow on it. I think that's a boring way of ending it. I say I'm just not sure what your ending was for that. And I disagree with other people. I think there are a few technical difficulties depending on where it's performed. If you've got people coming up from underground, you have to have spaces underground. You have to hide people on stage. Stuff dropping on people, lighting is hard to do safely. So, you know, I think it's doable, but I think this idea that it's all easy,
I didn't
sort
say.
of my experience of directing plays is a little bit different. And I've had, you know, well, if Jeff is still on, he knows that I've had real tasers on stage. And that takes a hell of a lot of work to make it done safely. But
I didn't say it would be easy.
you gave the impression it was sort of, it could be done. Well, anything could be done, but if you have enough resources. But a lot of places that are going to maybe trying to do this have very basic, limited resources that would make the more complicated it is, the more difficult it is to do. So that's just my contrarian view.
Yeah, the projection could be a little tacky. It doesn't have to be so perfect like Disney would do. If it was really tacky, then they would realize that it was phony. So I wouldn't, if I was doing this, I would make it kind of somewhat how tacky in the projector falls and also.
No, it's not the projector. It's the light falls. Is the one. That's the one where something falls on somebody's head.
Another thing that would be hard.
That's a bit tricky.
But that's true about the projection. The projection doesn't have to be good enough to fool the audience. It only has to fool the characters, and we know what kind of characters these are.
Right, they're not the brightest.
Projection's not there yet.
I'd be more worried about that light bulb exploding. I think that's something that would be a real challenge.
Yeah.
Well, you were the one who said I just handed over to the technical director, so it sounds like it's.
That's right.
Well, no, I mean, I never look at a play. You always want to consider the actor's safety during the show. That's something that's paramount because you don't want to hurt them and you don't want to kill them.
Yes, who's fallen off.
Well, it depends on the actor. It depends on the actor. There, sometimes you do want to.
Well, yeah.
Take them out.
Like in Birdman, he actually did drop a light on somebody. Yeah. But yes, you know. But what I'm saying is, what I didn't mean to make it sound like it would be the easiest thing in the world. All I said is it's doable if you have the right people to do it. That's and the right space.
And I do take it seriously about safety because you may not know, Simon, but a couple of years ago I actually fell off a stage in a blackout when we were doing witness for the prosecution and broke my ankle.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've hurt myself when I was an actor, I hurt myself doing a stage fall, and I directed Oliver, and one of my kids ran into a wall backstage and had to be taken to the hospital. So, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying any of this isn't safe. I'm just saying that if you look at it being marketable and things, there are actually a number of technical issues that might make it hard for someone with limited resources to do. That's really my point about it. Not that you couldn't assess them, So that's just a marketability thing. But the more technically complicated, the more complicated the set, the fewer people can perform it.
Back over to you, Rob, I think.
All right. Well, fantastic discussion. Thank you so much for the comments tonight. Again, as a reminder, in February, we'll have bits and pieces, which is workshopping. Feel free to bring in a scene of your play or a section that you want to look over. It could even be a synopsis that you want to share with everyone and see where it's going. A little more loose format, I guess, in February. So we look forward to seeing you then. Night of 1X, and when is that? March or April? March, I believe. And what?
I think it's
Richard?
March. Yeah.
March. So we look forward to those. I'd suggest before we all hang up tonight that we turn our microphones on for just a minute so we can give Dave and the fabulous actors tonight a round of applause because they did a great job.
Excellent. Excellent.